What up, world? First and foremost, I just want to thank all y'all for subscribing and watching these motivational messages. I pray that the words that I say comes from God and that it blesses you and that it stir you up to do better, to aim for higher heights, and to plant a seed in somebody else's life. Because what God gives to me is not just for me, it's for everyone else. In the same way what God gives to you, it ain't just for you. He blesses you so that you can bless others. We got to sow that seed, y'all. That seed of righteousness into somebody else. We got to encourage them. We got to motivate them that they can do better. We got to touch this nation. We got to touch this world. We got to touch our community. We got to plant a seed in our community. A good seed. Especially in those areas where we know that a seed is needed. Areas where we know crime is at an all-time high. Areas where we know ignorance is at an all-time high. Areas where we know poverty is at an all-time high. You see, those are areas that I believe God called me to. Poverty, uneducated, and ignorance. You see, God can make the weak strong. And if we plant seeds in that area, if I plant seeds in that area through God's grace and through God's wisdom, God will touch them. God will change them. And people will see what God can do in their lives. The same way God touched and changed me, God can touch and change any and every one. But we got to seek them. We got to try to understand it and just spend time with God. We're not going to understand all of God's plans because his ways not our ways. But one thing about it, if we seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, all things shall be added. So the lack that's needed in those communities, if we seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, he said all things shall be added. Poverty can change. Ignorance can change. You see, we can educate our communities. We can educate the communities to do better. Because that's the way we're going to fight it all. That's the way you fight the crime. By people getting smarter. Being more qualified to get better jobs. That's the way you fight racism. By you being just as good or just as smart as somebody else. And you fight COVID-19 by wearing the mask and staying home until they find a vaccine. And so let's plant that seed, man. Plant that seed in your house. Plant that seed in your neighborhood. Plant that seed of righteousness. In Jesus' name, peace.